Well, greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here. Unky Joe's Playhouse. Welcome back. It's been a while. It's been over a month. Has it been over a month? I've been a naughty boy. I'm so ashamed of myself. The point is, today I'm back, and hopefully with a video that you're going to find as exciting to watch as I did to make it. So do you like the whole, mini pearl set design here? I've still got the tag of the microphone stand. The lighting is inadequate. I do have the set up, and I've actually been working on the background. I want you to know I'm basically making excuses for not doing a video for the past month, but things have been busy here at Unky Joe's Playhouse. And one of those things is I started on this new set last year. I wanted to get it all set up, and then things change in life, and they change rather quickly. But we're here. We've got a partial setup. I need to do something about this microphone arm. I need to do something about the lighting. It's not what I would call the best, but I'm a work in progress as always here at Unky Joe's Playhouse. But today, what I want to talk to you about is that Antec case that I'm so in love with. If you remember, it's been over a year ago. I went out to the old shed and I dragged out this old beast of a case back from the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, right around 2005, 2006. And it was an Antec, and it was grayish black, and it had, it's a full tower case. You'll see it here again in a minute. Well, today I've decided I've had some situations come up, unexpected in life, and I need to serpentine shell and kind of adapt to this. The main thing is my Dell 720 has decided that it's just time to say arrivederci. And not that it can't be fixed, but I have, if you've come along with me on this journey, I've put a lot of time and effort into that Dell R720. I just put a Tesla P40 video card in there, 24 gig. Spent a lot of time getting new risers and cables for it. And now it just kind of sits there at the BIOS screen and tells me it's testing memory and doesn't go any further. And I frankly don't want to put any more time and effort into that Dell 720. So what I've decided to do is take advantage of some of the other equipment I have laying around here that is not being put to good use. Now, the main reason I use something like the Dell in my rack is the fact that it has IPMI, or it has remote management capabilities. But I've got some machines over here on my rack that all I have to do is get off my lazy rear end and turn them on and put a USB key in. So it's not the end of the world that I don't have IPMI on the unit that I'm about to talk to you about. Now, what I did in that old Antec case was install an older Gigabyte, I think it was a 4th generation Intel chipset, or chip on there, an i5 or an i7 that I picked up on the eBays, and I put it in there, and I kind of had that, we put Unraid on there, we put Proxmox on there, we put Windows on there, all kinds of stuff. But today, what I wanted to do as part and parcel of all this office cleanup and reorganization is, as you know, my gaming unit used to be across the room here on this wall, the entry wall to my office. That has since moved, and I've got a bunch of aquariums over there. And that machine needed to be put somewhere and put to good use. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take the guts out of that machine, and we're going to put it into the Antec case, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what it is I've done with the guts in that new Antec and what job that machine is going to have moving forward. Now, the other thing I want to accomplish in this task is I want to, Metacurb has sent me a bunch of used hard drives, slightly used hard drives, and you can't have enough archival backups as far as I'm concerned. So the other thing I want to do is I want to slam 4 of those 8 terabyte drives. He sent me a total of 8 8 terabyte drives. I can't thank you enough, Metakerb. But I wanted to take 4 of those and slam them into that Antec case as well, and use them as archival drives, among other things. Now, the other thing I had in this gaming workstation when it was over there was an RTX 3060 video card. So, and that's a 12 gig card. It's nothing to sniff at. It's a high-end card. It's not a 4060, I know, but it's a 3060. It's got 12 gig of RAM, and it's great for AI. So, in addition to having that be an archival storage server, I could also run some AI software on there as well, which kind of makes up for the fact that I don't have the Dell R720 to run anymore, and that Tesla P40 is a card best suited to go into a high-end server like that. Although I could make it work in another machine, I don't know how interested I am in making that happen. But turns out, as you're going to see here, that maybe that was a really good decision to have made as far as AI goes. But we'll have to see. In any event, let's get that machine over here, get it disassembled, get the new parts put into it, get it put back together, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what my results were. So do we remember this little beastie? And you know, I love this Antec case. This thing is back from the early 2000s. I love this thing. It's been with me, well, since I worked, that would have been 2006 when I worked at this place. We were using Office Scan Corporate Edition, if anybody remembers that. Anyway, right now this is kind of, the reason I like it is because this. And not because of the hard drives, but because of the drive bay. So I can put 4 hard drives in here. It gives me, the ability to set it up as an archival server. It's got USB on the front. It's even got FireWire. Look at that. That's how old it is. And it has a floppy drive. It's non-functional, but let's see what's inside. So another reason I love these Antec cases is that they're huge. I got so much room in this thing. And it only has an Intel, I think, 3rd or 4th generation CPU, and it's time to retire this board. Maybe I'll put it in a 2U server if it'll fit. I don't know. It has an SSD boot drive, and then it has these, this drive cage. So it's time to soup this up. And so what I'm going to do is take the guts out of my old workstation. Remember the little workstation down there? That's a Ryzen 5, 3600, I believe. And it's got an RX 3060 video card in it. So I want to move the components, the motherboard, everything from there into here, and then it's going to go back over here on the telco rack, and then that'll be my it'll be an AI and archival machine, so that I can play around. Not only do I have my server in there, my Dell that I can play with a 24 gig Tesla P40 card, but I'll be able to play with the AI with this RX 3060. I'll have to let's go double check that. RTX. I keep calling it RX, but it's actually RTX. And excuse the office. Look at this. It is a mess, but I have made a dent in it. Yeah, it's an RTX 3060 GeForce card. So we're going. Look, I got a whole box dedicated to Metakerb for the parts he sent me. This board in here is a great little board. But it's a 3rd or 4th generation i5 or i7 in here, and it's time to find another home for it. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to gut this, and then I'm going to take the parts out of the other one and put them into here. So this ought to be fun, eh? I would film it, but look at my bench right now. My bench is like just torn asunder. But what I can do is I can set up the camera here. Let's see, maybe I can set up the camera here. How does that look? Is there another screw there? A post? Why is there a bump in that board? I don't like that. Better safe than sorry. Oh, I am sure glad I looked. Yeah, that could have caused a big problem. Always check. Yeah, so anyway, pardon the noise behind me or over my shoulder or wherever it's coming from on your end. I just wanted to show you something here. This is my Dell 720. And I've asked it some questions of the AI. I'm using the same model. I'm using the same settings between this machine, which is my Dell 720, and the Ryzen 7 that I just moved over to the Antec case. And yeah, I got some interesting results. And you know, the whole reason I did this Dell 720 was for AI, and it looks like it may have been a mistake. One of the things I didn't take into account is the processor family. This is a Xeon E5 2600 V2 series. Now, I believe I can go to a V3 processor on this machine. But the other sticking point is the NVIDIA Tesla P40. And my thoughts were, oh wow, a Tesla P40, a $10,000 video card for $200, and I can put this into my Dell 720 and I'll have a great AI machine to run AI on. Well, okay, in theory that was you know, a great theory, but like many other things in life, it turned out to be not so true. And this is the proof of it right here. So I'm comparing the responses of this machine with the responses of Hephaestus, which is the Ryzen 7 1700 CPU that was donated by a subscriber, and has an RX 3000 series video card in it. So even though this NVIDIA Tesla P40 card has lots and lots of RAM on it, like 24 gig, and the NVIDIA RX series only has about 12, it has half, it loads this model, you see it loads this model on this machine in 50.67 seconds. On Hephaestus, it loaded the module, let's see here, in 19.98 seconds. And then you can compare the response times. So here I had response times as high as, and it was really odd. These were the most complicated things I was asking it, these shorter response times. But the two simple things that I asked it to solve for me, and two questions to answer, took the longest amount of time. And we're talking well over, you know, sometimes, oh well, that's almost 5 minutes, isn't it? All right, so 3 minutes and 31 seconds is what it took for the AI on that machine to solve that same question as 31 and 12 seconds. So, I mean, it is like night and day between these two. And just so you can see what I'm running on this machine, let's go to Task Manager here. We'll bring that up. And you can see I'm running an AMD Ryzen. Oh, this is only a Ryzen 5 3600. I was wrong. This is not the Ryzen 7 unit. It's a Ryzen 5 3600 and an NVIDIA GeForce RX. What model is this? RTX 3060. And for some reason, I can't put this over on CUDA cores. That's weird. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, it's just so much, it's like night and day. It's just so much faster. Now it's created a dilemma for me, and why did I spend money getting this Dell 720 up and running if that's not going to, if something, just a couple of generations old is going to give me so much better performance? Well, that just goes to show you how much AI has jumped forward by leaps and bounds and left older video cards and older CPUs in the dust, and really needs all the processing / GPU power you can throw at it. And that's a lesson sometimes you just have to learn the hard way. And Unky Joe, I'm hard-headed. But I have learned that lesson, and so that changes the dynamic of what I'm going to do with this Dell R720 moving forward. So all reassembled, put back together, the little Ryzen 5 3600. I for some reason, I thought I was going to be putting a Ryzen 7 in here, but then I remembered the Ryzen 7 is in Zeus. I'm an old man, I forget things. So anyway, this has a Ryzen 5 3600 CPU in it, and I went ahead and put Windows on it because I can pass through all the drives, the 8 terabyte drives, and use them in a stable bit drive pool, have them be archival drives, have certain amounts of that data be split across multiple drives. It gives you a lot of flexibility, and it's Windows. You just can't go wrong with Windows. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, know what I mean? And it's running great, and I put the RTX 3060 12 gig video card in there. And as I showed you on the snippet of video before this, it actually runs better in that Ryzen 5 3600 than it does in the R720. Now, ultimately, just so you know what the plan is with this machine, I really cannot tell you enough how much I like Proxmox overall. Just as it's one of the best hypervisors I've ever used in my life, and I've used them all, folks, including VMware, ESXi. We've used Citrix. Here, I've done a lot of videos on XCPNG, which is basically Citrix. You know how I love my Hyper-V, but frankly, folks, Proxmox is just where it's at, and I think where it's going to be at for a while, especially with VMware's downfall. But anyway, the goal is to run Proxmox on this thing. Now, the only weakness I have using an AMD system, or the only problem I have using an AMD system, is it doesn't have video on the chip for the AMD. But I have been able to find a Ryzen 5 4600G chip for a good price, and I'm doing a little finagling. And if we get that in here, then that means we have that video card to dedicate toward Proxmox so I can install it. And then we could pass through the RTX 3060 to a Windows virtual machine, and then still be able to divvy up the CPU for other tasks and other containers and other virtual machines, because it's just way too much power to be sitting there and only serving as an archive or AI server when it could be doing so many other things. And Proxmox makes that happen. I mean, it does it better than any other hypervisor. My big hope with Hyper-V, I was hoping through they would get the holy grail of video or PCI Express pass-through, and it never came to fruition like I had hoped. So that's part and parcel why I built this unit. And I didn't want that Ryzen 5 3600 going to waste. Now, when I do the upgrade to the Ryzen 5 4600G or 4500G, we'll put the Ryzen 5 3600 out on the interwebs, we'll do a giveaway, give it to somebody, give it a good home. I hate to see good technology go to waste. So, you got that kind of video to look forward to. But that's where we ended up with this machine is called Hephaestus, Greek gods. It's a thing of mine, and it sits next to Zeus over there. It's an archival server. It's an AI server. It's an all-around. Pretty soon, it's going to be a Proxmox server, as is the Ryzen 7 next to it. So we're gonna Proxmox all the things, and I'm going to show you how I did that one as well. So there you go, folks. We hope you found this video entertaining and informative. Thanks for coming back to see us. Thanks. I appreciate your loyalty. I appreciate you hanging around. This is one of the reasons I've kept the live streams going, so that you guys know I have not given up on YouTube. It's just I've had other things going on in my life. New job. They're all excuses, I know, but I'm back to making videos for y'all. And I appreciate your patience and waiting for me. Donate if you're so inclined. We accept PayPal, Patreon, the YouTube join function. Check out all our social media links at UnkyJoe'sPlayhouse.com. Go there. That's our website. And we got links to our Discord server and all kinds of neat stuff on there. So go check us out on there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and click that little notification bell to be notified when new videos have arrived for you to watch. Please don't forget to come back and see us again, and don't forget we'll see all of you on the other side.